Oh, hey, what's up, guys? Just sifting through my Bible here, trying to figure out what version of Christianity George Janko is ascribing to, because so far, I have not found a single thing that he discusses that is relatively close to any sort of Christianity that I'm familiar with. That all being said, I want to make something very clear. I am a fan of George. This is just me trying to get the guy to be a little bit better, because George has become the face of Christianity right now on YouTube. I mean, everybody knows him because he famously left the Impulsive podcast after Logan Paul was mocking his religion and mocking his belief in God and in Jesus Christ and his Christianity. And so he left and started his own thing. That's why I know who he is. And that's why I know a lot of majority of fans know who he is, especially now he's getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And he's kind of become the face of Christianity for YouTube. I'm fairly new to the guy's content. And I was just watching the podcast that he did with Candace Owens. And he said something in there that sparked something that made me go down this rabbit hole and watch a few of his videos. And I'm just like, what is going on here? Because this is very interesting. Here's a quick glimpse into what I'm talking about.
So I always act as if, God forbid, we get to a point in the world where my life is in jeopardy. And the only things my kids have to raise them with is the tapes that I speak on. So I really put everything into this. Like if I'm, God forbid, like this is how I'm going to raise my kids. And so every move I make is like, hey, be careful, your kid's gonna see that. But if you're like, no, I gotta make sure that my mom's not embarrassed and my kids are not gonna be embarrassed.
Okay, beautiful, perfect. So this was the first thing I heard, part of this podcast, that got me interested in what he's talking about, because I'm like, that is a great way to think. Yeah, you don't want to put anything online that your kids are going to see in the future and be like, oh, that's a little weird. Why are you posting that? Like, why did dad do that? That's what George is saying here. He doesn't want to put anything out that his kids are going to grow up and see, oh, like dad was that kind of person. However, once I started doing a little bit of a deeper dive, I was a little confused by that statement, because he seems to put some stuff out there that is very confusing. Here's where the interest peaked for me.
For people that don't know, we don't just use that phrase, oh, mama bear. It's a phenomenon, what actually happens in the wild and in nature with a mother bear. So the papa bear, if you will, when they want to have sex with the mama bear, they can't if she doesn't go into heat if she's nursing. That's a thing. That's all mammals. If you're nursing, you don't go into heat.
No, I deal with it all the time.
Right. And so what happens is he realizes, if I kill the cubs, right, you'll go back into heat so we can have sex. Right?
No, they don't do that.
This is 100% true.
They don't do that.
This is 100% true. 100% true.
Wait, that's crazy.
So
they really want to smash.
Right? So they really...
That's crazy.
Papa Bear's wild, right?
Whoa. From now on, that's my nickname, bro.
So they'll attack the cub.
George just made two slight little sexual jokes, and I was like, this guy just seems a little bit over-sexualized during this segment, and it's a little odd. So then I started doing a deeper dive. I've never seen anything from his fiance or anything from himself aside from the podcast. So then I was like, I'm going to check out their Instagrams, and I want to know a little bit more about who they are and like the Christianity aspect of their lives. And it was really just simply that statement, like, oh, you can call me the Papa Bear from here on out, that made me like think about this. So the very first thing I see, I specifically go on Shauna's Instagram, and I was very disturbed by some of the photos that I found on there. Take a look. A lot of over-sexualization in these photos, a lot of showing off of the body, a lot of immodesty, and she's engaged now to George, who apparently is a devout Christian. I mean, personally, I believe that there is something a little bit wrong with this, but if you're like a model or you're whatever, then I have nothing to say about that. But if you're preaching Christianity, you got to tell your girl, hey, I don't like these photos being up there. Why do I, a random YouTuber, have access to these photos? And I'll tell you an even more interesting story. When I was preparing for this video, I took screenshots of those photos, and me and my wife are looking through my camera roll, and we're looking at pictures of my baby, and she sees those photos, and she's looking at me like, why do you have this? And I'm like, oh, that's the video I was telling you about. That's, I'm kind of like trying to show that this is not the way. The fact that my wife had such an adverse reaction to seeing those photos on my phone, as she should tell George something. Hey, why does your fiance have booty pics, bikini pics, guys in the comments saying, oh, look at you, you're so sexy? Well, look at the comments. I'm not making this up. Why is that a thing? When again, you are supposed to be this Christian couple that is preaching Christianity. Why is this on your Instagram? Then I stumbled upon a video on YouTube that got me thinking even more. This is a little weird.
No, I don't think she has a period. You don't have a period anymore.
I have an IUD, so I don't get my period at the moment.
Ever. That's
Never.
what it does?
I used to get my period, but now because I have an IUD, I don't.
Congrats.
Yeah, stops
That's
it.
dope.
Thanks.
So very first of all, it's just interesting to me that you're sitting down with two random guys and you guys are openly talking about your wife's or your fiance's IUD and birth control and sex. It's just very weird to be discussing sex life with your fiance as a Christian person. Again, that must be reiterated.
Oh, and I lay down, and she they put the clamp in, and then when they go into your uterus, there's a wall, and when they get to that wall, there's this little area that never gets that never gets pierced through. So what they go through to put your IUD in is a part that never gets opened up unless you're having childbirth. So that part has never been pierced through.
Well, I wouldn't say never.
So again, with immature sex jokes, oh, I wouldn't say never, dude. I've been all up in there. Yeah, bro.
There you go.
Okay, and
Oh, bro, high five, dude.
So I got a worse IUD story than this.
With another bitch?
Okay, George is like, yo, I got another story about an IUD. And this guy's like, with another. So what does that imply? That your fiance is also that, and George has nothing to say about that? You're not going to say, hey, we're not going to call it that here. This whole thing just doesn't make any sense. You're sitting here, you're on a podcast, you're talking about your sex life, your girlfriend at the time / fiance. Now, again, where in Christianity they talk about premarital sex being okay? Never, nowhere. There's no such thing. You're not allowed to, as a Christian, have premarital sex. Another thing that's very worth discussing here is George is always talking about, I need to stop cussing. I need to really stop cursing. People always tell me I need to stop cussing. He tries his hardest to not cuss in his videos. I think this is more of an important thing. Stop over-sexualizing your fiance. Stop over-sexualizing your entire life. Stop putting your sex life out there on the internet. Again, as a Christian person, it is not for anybody to hear. That's my issue with this whole video. Then he goes on to talk about an IUD story with another girlfriend that he had and goes into very explicit detail about what happened and why it happened. And it's just, the whole thing is very weird to me that this is all being said in front of his fiance and everybody's just okay with what's being stated in this video. Then it brings me to my very last clip, which is George talking about, can Christians get high? He's here with some Christian pastor, I guess. Seems to be answering the question fairly in a right way, but I'm going to give a better answer to the question. Let's break this one down real quick.
Well, I'm going to ask it the way that I feel. Listen,
bet.
God created it.
Yep.
I just light it on fire and it acts me up a little bit.
Okay, so his first justification is that God created it, so it must be good. Okay, well, God created poison ivy, and I think that's what they're actually going to say here, is that God created poison ivy as well. And God created a multitude of different things that are not good for the human body.
I'm trying to find my way into the acceptance of it. And if it's wrong, I'll try my best to stop it. And if it's right, we're lighting one right now, baby.
I'm trying to find my way into the acceptance of it.
I've done some conch out of the shells in Costa Rica.
You smoked?
Well,
You
yeah,
smoked, my guy?
it's been a bit.
out of shells and coast.
Look how happy the guy gets because somebody else smokes weed. It's stupid. This is childish.
Let's be real honest. There is nothing wrong with drinking wine. Jesus turned water into wine, so come on. But he did warn against drunkenness.
Okay, so now we're talking about the wedding at Cana. Why did Jesus turn water to wine, and why is it okay that people can drink wine, but people can't smoke weed? Well, here's the exact reason, according to the church. You can sip on a glass of wine and not get plastered out of your mind. You can have a pint of beer and not be super wasted. Beyond that, who knows? The assumption is most people are going to be responsible for controlling their behaviors and not getting drunk and not getting super wasted. Now, there are people that abuse that. Of course there are. Smoking marijuana is going to get you high almost immediately every single time. Doesn't matter how much you take or how little you take, you are going to get high and your mind state is going to be altered in a way that alcohol does not alter in lower quantities. Drinking a glass or two of wine is accepted by the church because you're not inhibiting yourself. Same with any other type of alcohol, so whether it's spirits or wine or beer. If you are able to control it and you're cool with having one or two, then you're good. Marijuana or pretty much any other drug is going to get you high almost immediately. And that is where the church's stance is. Drugs are bad and alcohol is okay in moderation.
I don't drink. I don't drink because I lose control of myself. When I smoke weed, though, I'm giggly. I am stupid, but I do have a firm grasp of what's kind of going on here.
I just want to highlight in this video, George constantly is trying to find an excuse for marijuana use. Basically trying to justify him smoking weed as much as he possibly can, even though as a Christian, he knows that it's wrong, and everybody around him is telling him that it's wrong.
Is this God's plan, and are we allowed to use it? Because isn't there a scripture? But this is such a stoner scripture that like
Can't wait.
that if like every herb was for us or something like that. I like to smoke because I feel like I could at least. I know people that smoke and do their job. I have very bad ADHD, so it calms me down. I'm not even trying to make excuses right now. What happens to the people that overwhelm themselves with thoughts at night and they get anxiety? So is it worse for you to sit there with anxiety or for you to just smoke and watch SpongeBob? And by the way, I don't know if this is blasphemous, but oh God, I really hope I don't get reamed for this. I enjoy reading the Bible when I'm a little stoned. Because I know ball players, I know athletes, I know fighters that smoke weed every day, and yet their physical form of their body, like we were talking about, is in tremendous shape. Yep. I don't love wine. I love this. This is my avenue.
Yeah.
Why is it that this avenue is wrong and then this avenue is fair? But it's like, damn, bro, like I work so hard and I'm so passionate. I need something to unwind me.
So if you watch this whole video, and I'll put the link below, he basically tries to justify every single which way to make it so that marijuana is okay in his head, even though these two guys are constantly telling him it's not, it's not, it's not. He's finding every which way. Oh, it helps me sleep. Well, it helps me read the Bible when I'm high. Oh, well, athletes do it too. And oh, God made it as well. Well, it doesn't matter what you think, because you can't just make up rules. And that's where Christianity has taken such a big fall, because the original version of Christianity and what happened since then is it's become 300,000 different branches of Christianity, all of which people are interpreting things their own way, saying things that are not exactly true, and interpreting scripture the way that they want to interpret it to follow along with their lifestyle. That is not Christianity. That is a completely diluted version of Christianity, and you can't even call it Christianity. Again, the point of this video is this. George, I am a fan of yours. What you're doing is good. I think you leaving Logan Paul and his degeneracy was a fantastic decision. I think that you are going to be a great voice for Christianity, but I think right now, the things that you were talking about and the things that you are doing are not the way. This is not the way to spread the faith. If you happen to see this video, my message to you is this. Try and be just a little bit better, a little bit more aware of the things that you are saying to your 2, 3 million, 4 million plus followers who are all actively listening and watching you. And again, I really truly believe that right now on YouTube, there's a shift that is happening from total degeneracy to the Christ pill now coming full circle. And you're definitely one of the lead faces of it. Really take into consideration the things that you're saying, the things that you're posting. And I hope you don't think that this is like me coming at you. This is me just saying from one Christian person to another, there's a lot better that we can do.
Hey Xhaos, when's the next album drop? Hey Xhaos, we like your style a lot. Hey Xhaos,